So, what's brought you here today?
I'm here for the launch, Emily, the launch of Enchanted Palace. In fact, we've been doing it all week with previews the first 3 days, but today is the big day with the media, so we're all holding our breath.
What's your favourite room so far, if you've had a look around?
I like what Boudica has done with the cupola room that has turned into the room that talks about time. I love the way that the clock that was in there is now switched off, and instead dresses go round and make you feel like you're inside the mechanism.
What do you think the audience who come round the Enchanted Palaces will gain from this experience?
They might not know what it is at first. They'll probably be looking at this thinking this is a bit strange, but they'll know that it's sort of fairy tale-esque, and looking at the elements in the arches, they'll probably guess.
So are you pleased with the outcome then?
Yeah, it reminds me of the old storybooks I used to read when I was a kid, those silhouetted fairy tales, so I'm very happy.
How do you feel about having your work on display to the public?
It was really exciting today when I first saw it, and it's a pleasure to be a part of Kensington Palace. Working with Emma was really good, and yeah, I'm proud.
Some of the actors seem to know quite a bit about the historical background. Do they do research, or are they making it up as they go along?
That's a very good question. What we've done is we've used the real stories of the palace as the springboard for the theatre. So when the performers and the explainers are working, they're often working from real truth. But the truths we're most interested in aren't the details of dates and that kind of stuff. We're really interested in the truth about human relationships and the emotions of the place.
What's your role in this house?
I am a detector.
What's your latest mystery so far?
Well, earlier on, somebody came into the Room of the World, and there were prints on the ground that were new, and we asked them to follow them, and we asked them if they were a princess or a wild boy, and they said they were a wild boy, but then when we got to the end we asked them their name, if they were Peter, and they weren't. So Peter's the name of the wild boy. They said they were a wild boy, but they weren't Peter. So were they Peter or Peter non-Peter?
Well, we're actually in Princess Victoria's childhood bedroom, and my dress is really based on the time that Victoria spent in this room. During her childhood, she was actually felt quite restricted and isolated. Her parents didn't really allow her to have many friends, and all she could really do was, be by herself, play with her dolls and her pets. So my dress is really kind of a dress inspired by the moment she became queen. When she was in this room, she was sleeping and she was woken and told she was the queen. And that's the moment that she left the palace and never returned. So the dress, which is just behind us, it's almost like a swarm of birds, which is granting Victoria's wish of freedom.
So, what brought you here today?
Well, actually, I've been doing what you've been doing, but for an American network called CBS. I've been talking about the exhibition and the palace for a television station in America. So I've just spoken live to New York, and then in 2 hours' time it will go right across America. So I was a bit nervous because you can't mess up when it's live, and you can't say naughty words, so it's very hard for me.
Have you looked around the rooms, and what is your favourite room?
Yeah, I've had a great look around the rooms, and I think my favourite room is the Room of Tears. I love the idea that they used to collect their tears in a little bottle, and then when the tears had evaporated, so your sadness must have gone. But I think if I had one on Britain's Got Talent, it wouldn't go for ages because I'm always crying on that show, aren't I?
Do you feel today has been successful?
It feels like that. But until we hear what people say and they write what they're going to write, it's going to be a bit difficult to test. And in reality, what matters is what the people tomorrow think, because they're our visitors. And it's the visitors who will come for the next 2 years.